Alrighty, well hello everybody and welcome back to the Hunter Call of the Wild. Today we are going over my top 5, in no particular order, weapons that I recommend for the Hunter Call of the Wild. Starting out, we're going to be using the original base game 243, very classic rifle, and in my opinion, nothing has really beat this rifle for the versatility that it offers for your class 2, your class 3 animals. Like, sure, they've come out with the 223, the 10 mil, the 44 covers your class 3 animals, and like, those I can appreciate, but really I still think that the 243 just shines above them for just versatility. It's covering class 2 to 6, it's base game, and its zeroing options cover 75 meters, 150 meters, and 300 meters. I took it out, I tested it on Lynx, on Raventuli, I took it out, I tested it on Pronghorn, on SRP, both very small end class animals that your options for weapons are a little bit limited, but having that polymer tip bullet, which the Mosin does not have, and having that up to 300 meter range that the 10 mil does not have, I think really open up that 243 for a lot of opportunities that some of the other weapons of those classes just don't have. And even when it comes to the 223, the 243 just has that edge of extra penetration at really any range that you compare the two of them, that it's just the better weapon in my opinion. And I'm sure you'll appreciate my Bengal tiger striped camo that I have applied to my 243. It's it's a vibe. We love it. But I'm gonna let you guys kind of enjoy these clips of me taking some pronghorn down, harvesting them, and then also we took a trip back to Raventuli with the 243 in hand, and I ran across something that I thought was pretty cool. But I'll let you guys finish watching the pronghorn here, then we'll get to that. But as you can see, very reliable penetration on all of these shots from the varying distances of about 150 meters all the way up to its female, with the distance of 220 meters. Very reliable. I'm getting vital organs. I'm not worried about getting vital organs. But, as I said, we did end up returning to Raventuli, where I came across some max weight tracks for the Eurasian Lynx. It was a male max weight estimate, and it was kind of warping across the map. So I knew that it probably had something to do with the fact that I had just adjusted the time a little bit for a weapon we'll see later on in the video. So I was getting fresh, and I was getting very fresh tracks. And I was, at best, expecting like a big level 7, or maybe even a mythical. I didn't have my hopes up too high. Now when I was recording this, I was intentionally recording with no mic audio, so this voiceover is done after the fact. But I was intentionally recording with no audio so that way I could use these clips however I needed to. And I didn't have to like crop stuff weirdly because of something that I said in the moment and I ended up not needing in the video, so it was a choice. Now, I found his companion, a female lynx, which I took these very poor shots at. I knew that I was taking poor shots, but my thought process was, if I get that female lynx down, I don't have to worry about coming across her tracks. And then I got to this area, I was still tracking him, he was still fleeing, but there was like a fairly wide open area in front of me. And then I saw him. Just barely, but I saw him. 9 legendary. Look at the estimate, 28 to 31. I knew that my breath was kind of in need of regaining, so I held off for a second and took the shot. The health dropped fast enough that I was pretty sure that I was okay, but I was also the slightest bit worried that I had spined him. The only thing that made me think otherwise was I knew that he was at about 100 meters when I took the shot, and I was zeroed for 75. so it shouldn't have been high. There was vital blood, which I was hopeful, very hopeful. I had to like take a couple of deep breaths, calm myself before I picked him up. I was prepared for the worst. I was prepared for a botch. I was scared. But he makes it. Max weight, 28.98, nearly max score. Diamond Eurasian Lynx. We hit the back leg, but we got into a lung. Thank goodness. At 80 meters, 0 for 75. The 243 does it again. Meets every expectation that I had. And we got a huge Diamond Lynx out. I had to take a second to like take it in and just, it was glorious. Glorious. Which is honestly kind of weird to me, but I actually have 4 Diamond Lynx in my lodge. Now, the waypoint was me going back for the female that I shot. Definitely kind of broke my ankles on that jump. But we got the female. We did get into non-vital organs, both shots, through the tail included. But we grabbed her, and now we're going to move on to the next 2 weapons that I recommend, but this is going to be really short clips, because I don't want to boast about these too much. So first up, we're going to start off with the Modern Rifle DLC, the 308 AR. A hugely common grinding weapon. I myself used it on a fallow grind and a whitetail grind. I love this weapon. I really do. I love it for the, like, really reduced recoil. It does not take a lot to take a shot and get right back on target. And I'm sure you guys have heard me, like, absolutely gush about the 308 before, so we're just gonna have you guys look at this one clip of a whitetail, because I think it's probably a little unnecessary for me to, like, continue to use it, because you've all seen it before, you all know it well. We love the 308. We really do. It's got class 4 to 8 in the zeroing, same as the 243, 75, 150, and 300. Now we're gonna go to a little different of a weapon that is my favorite, my absolute favorite in the game. We have the 303. This came with the Te Awaroa DLC. It's another class 4 to 8. I just think it's so snappy with the sound that it makes when you fire it. I love that sound so much. Zeroing is the same with the 75, 150, and 300, and this is a reliable one for me. I love using it on like my class 5, 6, even my 7s. Out to 300 meters, I am not afraid of that. But we're gonna skip right on to the next star of the show, the 300 AR. This is a class 7 to 9, just like the original 300. This is a DLC from the high caliber weapon pack. Zeroing is the same as most of these other weapons, 75, 150, and 300. But with this 300 AR, if you double lung a black bear, it drops on the spot. It doesn't go nowhere. It's got that really reliable, like, ballistics of the 300 that we know and love with the 4 rounds, the bolt action that came with Yukon, but in an AR package. So you've got reduced recoil. And you've got 5 rounds instead of 4 rounds. And because it's an AR, it's a semi-automatic instead of the bolt action style. But just really a reliable weapon. And honestly, the superstar of the moose grind right now for me. It's saved me a lot of time. Being able to get back on target quickly, get the follow-up shots, since the moose now take off so quickly after being hit, or so quickly after being spooked. Really just genuinely a reliable weapon. I love it. I might start grinding my bears on SRP with the 300. Like, I had such a great time going after them on Layton just for this video alone. I might start using this for my black bear grind over on Silver Ridge. This last clip here is a iron sights attempt at a Roosevelt elk, since we don't really get to see the iron sights of a lot of these weapons because we're so used to looking down scopes for grinds. But I got this attempt. attempt is very much appropriately the word that I would use. I was satisfied with the hit. It seemed to be good. Now you'll notice that as I was doing this, there aren't tracks on the screen and the animals aren't highlighting. That was intentional. And I was low, admittedly, but with a double lung, he went down. He didn't hardly go anywhere. Very reliable weapon. I really love it. Now we're gonna stop at the last weapon that I want to show off. This one also came out with the 300 AR in the high caliber weapon pack, and that's the 10 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. This thing is punchy. It hits, and it hits hard. Now in this video I'm only gonna use 2 of the 3 ammunition types. So this weapon uses the plastic 10 gauge ammunition. So the first turkey I picked up, you'll notice, was shot with something different. I had other weapons that I was possibly going to do top 10, but we decided to shorten it to top 5 to save time. But you're going to be looking for the 10 gauge plastic variations of the ammo for this weapon. So there's some different zeroings depending on which one you're using. So first off, we have the birdshot that I was very obviously using on the turkey. And the zeroing for that is going to be 25, 50, and 75. These are all in meters. I use my game in Imperial. I'm well aware I live in the Midwest of America, but I use the Imperial system because it's just easier to memorize the numbers to me. But the 10 gauge semi-automatic covers class 1, class 4 to 7, and then class 6 to 9, depending on the ammunition that you use. So this is a moose, which we're going to use the slug ammunition, which is your 6 to 9. And the zeroing for the slugs is different from the zeroing from the buckshot and birdshot. So the birdshot and the buckshot match with 25, 50, and 75. But your slugs, you can actually zero for 50, 100, and 150. So you get a lot more range to it. And it just, I don't know. With how the word I use is punchy, and I don't know why I use it, but it makes sense in my soul, I guess. But the 10 gauge is punchy. That's just it. It is what it is. I love what it does. I love the way it works. I tested it on moose, and then I took it and I even tested it on a brown bear on Reventuli. Like, I fast traveled and I could hear footsteps, and I looked out at my tent and, oh, look, a brown bear. And it just immediately hit, and the vital blood was right there. Now, I did have some frame rate issues. I do struggle with some frame rate problems on Reventuli, just in some areas with my PC. But it was like right at 12, 20 or so in game. So like the whitetail were everywhere, the moose were everywhere. They were like transitioning zones. All the tracks were lit up. So like I just had some weird frame problems. Please ignore that. My PC's not the greatest, but with this brown bear, just incredible. Liver, left lung, 31 meters. That slug does the job. These are my top 5 weapons. The 243, 300 AR, the 308 AR, the 303 bolt action, and the 10 gauge semi-automatic. But we took a trip to the Trophy Lodge. We put up our brand new Diamond Lynx, nearly max. So out of the 4 that I have a 27.6, I have a 28, I have a 28.1, and now to add to the collection, we have our 28.9, nearly max score. He was max weight Diamond Lynx. So that's my top 5. We even got a diamond out of it, which is very exciting. But I can't wait to see what your guys' opinions are of my top 5. Again, no particular order. These are just my top 5. I can't wait to hear your opinions on it. I want to know what your top 5 weapons are, in order or not. Doesn't matter to me. But I appreciate you all for hanging out with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.